One, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. So
this is Layla Santanello. She has been missing since June 27th, 2023, and she disappeared from Kingsport, Tennessee. Chronicles of Olivia and I went out to Kingsport, Tennessee on several different trips, searching for Layla Santanello or any information leading to her whereabouts. These are my thoughts on this case.
well, I have to be honest with you. I was hoping by now we would have found Layla. So this has been very hard. You know, we want to bring her home. We want to make sure that her family knows what happened to her, I think is really the most important. Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. Just like to speak to them just for a moment and just say, if you know something, say something, because her life does matter. For the family members of these people that know what happened to her, it could have been your daughter. It could have been your granddaughter. You need to ask them to stand up and speak up.
Learning today that 2 have been arrested in connection with the triple homicide out in San Antonio, Texas. This is the case of Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and their unborn child, baby Fabian. They were gunned down and dumped at an apartment complex and were located on December 26th.
It was a heinous act. It was unspeakable, the tragedy of it. When we talk about the manner of death has not been determined, the manner meaning, was it a suicide or was it a murder?
You said the ME said that for Matthew Guerra, it was a gunshot wound to the head, but when we called them, they said it's a contact gunshot wound. What does that mean?
It means that it was there.
However, with new evidence and new information coming forward, we have learned that they died on the 21st in early morning hours leading into the 22nd. It was right before midnight when the car was dumped in that video that you just saw. What we've learned since then is that this is potentially a drug deal that has gone wrong. This is a robbery, homicide, because everything happened from execution to dumping the car in less than 10 minutes, according to the affidavit. Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on TikTok to Bullhorn Betty. And don't forget, I have another channel. It is on YouTube. Please consider going over to Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories to get the latest and greatest on the up-to-date true crime news.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
What is up, my beautiful people of YouTube and X? It's great to see you this morning. It's going to be an out-of-the-world experience. Dun, dun, dun. I know. Starting off a little rough this morning. Well, happy Tuesday. I guess every one of you guys have made it through Manic Monday. It's nice to see you, TL, JB's mama, Manic Mama T. It's nice to see you. Mike Stevens is up in the house. Jules, it's nice to see you. The Real Me Too, Luteens. Our beautiful Sonia, Second Thesis. It's nice to see you here. Linda Lou, it's nice to see you. I need to stop. I know it's too early for this. Guidance, it's nice to see you. Angie, good morning to everyone. Southern Grammy Wolf, Net L, it's nice to see you this morning. Who else do we have? Darcy, good morning. Mel C, good morning. We have a lot to go over today, but we're going to be doing it in a very small amount of time. Today is a very busy day for me, so I'm going to shove a bunch of crap down your throat, and then I'm getting out of here. That's about how it's going to go today. In the tea, Apple Bottoms, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Aaron Davis is up in the house, snowing in Chicago. Brr. I keep forgetting how cold it is out there in the wilderness. Melinda, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Jess Deb. It's great to have everybody here this early morning. I know I was on Dolly Vision's channel and I was just chatting away. I was getting ready. I was listening. I wasn't really paying attention because I was doing research and there was a few times. Speculation Station, it's nice to see you. And you're like, hey, are you there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm reading chat, because I'm over in chat, over in this and that and the other. And it was about, Turtle Boy. And I feel bad. It's like a piece of me, because I'm so adamant about avocation and having your voice be heard. I'm conflicted with this whole thing because I really feel bad. Like for the people, the followers, the Karen Reed diehards, I want them to know that what they're doing is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be out there and advocate and have that emotional charge and actually do something with it. I don't want to knock anybody that's ever putting themselves out there and doing it responsibly and lawfully. I want to make sure that that is just, we are all about activity. We're all about getting involved in your community, and we are all about protesting. If anybody knows anything, I mean, I'm Bullhorn Betty. If that doesn't say how much I honor and respect protesting, I really don't know what does. But I, again, honor and respect protesting. I honor and respect it. There is I don't want it being abused. I honor and respect it. It's our constitutional right. But you have to make sure you're following the law. And anybody that goes out there with me, that's what I tell them. If you ever meet me at a protest, I give you a run of the mill of your do's and don'ts. Don't violate the law. And I just feel like at first, I really felt that Turtle Boy was truly just got caught up in the heat of the moment. That's really what I thought. I turned the other cheek, just like many of you guys did, up until the point where we heard that lady crying on the phone. And then I had just had it. And so when I just had it, I don't just come up here and say something out of my mouth. Now I'm actually doing some research in it, because you've got my attention. Good morning, Crime Stories. It's nice to see you, love. What he did was wrong. And what we're finding out is that this is a pattern of behavior that he's been exhibiting for many years. And I'm sorry. I just think if that it's our responsibility to make sure that our audience is safe out here in the wilderness, and that if something is amiss, that we bring it up. It's not to beat Turtle Boy up, but he's wrong. He is absolutely wrong. He handled himself inappropriately. He handled himself unlawfully. And now he may have jeopardized his freedom because of it. You need to follow the law if you're going to do this kind of work. It's not that hard. All you have to do is stay on public property and come from the heart and not do devious and dubious stuff, right? If you keep it like that, you're good. You're good. All right, without further ado, we're going to go into just a little bit of something else, and then we're going to dive right into the Savanah Soto case and Matthew Guerra case, because to be honest with you, I have a limited amount of time this morning, and we need to get some stuff in. I've decided to talk about the location, and here's why. Here's why. Before we get into the first segment, or the first little clip here, we read the affidavit. I've read it a couple times, but even reading it, you kind of overlook some things, or something isn't computing in your head, or you're on a different mindset. Like you're reading this, you're looking at, your mind is on a different thought process. So there's some things that you might overlook or miss entirely, or that just don't click, right? As you're reading it, just doesn't seem like an important aspect of it. And then you look back, or you misinterpret what it says, right? There's a lot of misinterpretation. So you may misinterpret what you read. And so it wasn't until I was listening to Justice for All. I love Justice for All. If you guys know anything, Justice for All and I, we don't agree 100% on 100% of the things. We never have. We never will. But we love each other. I think he's a great person. He's always been there, and he's always been willing to lend a hand. Those are great attributes when you're working in this kind of field, right? So I absolutely love Justin. I love him on a personal level. I love him on a professional level. I just love Justin. And I love the fact that he doesn't mind, having his own opinion, having, that we are not on the same thing. If I hate anybody that parrots me. I don't like it. I mean, if you agree with it, yes, that's one thing, but I don't like somebody intentionally just parroting everything I say. I like healthy debate on the issues, because that brings out other stuff that we may not have talked about. We may have not have touched on. It's just a different perspective altogether. So I'm always over there, especially when we're on the same types of cases. Sometimes he'll be covering something that I'm kind of stepped away from, or not covering at all, and vice versa. So this is a case that him and I are both, we're looking into, and we're not looking into it together. So in order for me to get some information from him, I'm usually on his channel, and vice versa. If he's watching this or trying to see what we have, that's just kind of how it goes when we're talking about this. So I was on his channel, and we were talking about these separate locations, and speculating on potentially where these things could have happened. It's not that we didn't read this. It's just that it wasn't, I don't know if I was asleep at the wheel, if it was something that because in my mind, when you're talking about two separate locations, naturally I'm thinking they were killed in the same location, but different areas of location. So I think when I read that, I was thinking one person is outside the car while somebody was on the inside of the car, two separate locations. They weren't both killed inside the car. But did I misread that? Is that meaning that there are two separate locations? Because, I mean, all of this, according to the affidavit, it specifically states here, let me just read it verbatim so we're very crystal clear on what happened. It says, during further investigation, they found the video at Danny Kaye. The video surveillance was found, and they pulled up right before midnight at 23:59 military time. That's 11:59. Hold on here. Here it is. So they were able to discover on the victim's phone that it pinged near Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive around 23:50. So 23:50 is military time. It's broken down at 11:50 p.m. And so they went missing the night that they went missing. The vehicle started moving. So they pull up at 23:50. And the car starts moving at 23:54. There are a few things that I need to notate here, and I myself have made this mistake. We're assuming a lot here, and we have to, if we're going to assume, we have to, in my opinion, if we're going to make assumptions on this case, we need to assume several different ways, because I feel like we're being asphyxiated on one thing. This is a very vague affidavit. I think anybody that's done this for a while has read these affidavits. This is confusing to me, and we've done this a time or two. Okay, so trying to figure this out, but it's a little unclear because we're leaping. So because, for example, because the cell phone had a search in there for Charlie Chan Drive, we're naturally believing that they went to Charlie Chan Drive. That may not necessarily be the case. And we're also assuming that just because the car made it to Charlie Chan Drive at 23:50 and then left within 4 minutes and within 10 minutes was dumped off, we're assuming that Matthew and Savanah were in control of that vehicle at 23:50. How do we know they weren't killed somewhere else and he go to the house and he pull into the house at 23:50, go wake up his dad, say, hey, Dad, something bad happened. We need to dump this car. And then within 4 minutes of him waking his dad up, they're leaving. And we're assuming that they got there at 23:50, were dead at 23:54, and were dumped at 23:59. We're assuming that. Those are a lot of assumptions, because at the end of the day, the affidavit, this is what the affidavit clearly states. And we'll back it up. We'll back it up a couple paragraphs after I read this paragraph. It says, the author of this, the affiant was able to discover that the victim's vehicle pinged. The victim's vehicle pinged. So no calls, no phone pings. The victim's vehicle pinged. So the victim's vehicle pinged near Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive at 23:50 hours on the night they went missing. The vehicle did not start moving again until 23:54 hours. The vehicle then traveled to 5903 Danny Kaye Drive, where the victims and their vehicles were discovered on December 26th. So it was the victim that notified that gave them the coordinates of that Charlie Chan drive, according to the arrest affidavit. Now we're going to back up. We're going to back up a couple paragraphs here because I want to hear what the context was leading up to that statement. It says, during the investigation, the affiant found a surveillance video at 5903 Danny K. I just want to bring people to understand that even in Layla Santanello, we work backwards. We didn't have a whole lot of information about Layla Santanello. We knew she was at the AmeriCorps Hotel. We knew she slept in bushes or in the woods. But if you look at the AmeriCorps Hotel, there was woods literally surrounding the entire circumference of that hotel. I mean, it was surrounded by woods. There wasn't really a place outside of the roads that weren't woods. So we had to backtrack. We couldn't figure out what wood body she slept in. In order for us to figure that out, we had to start at the Marble Slab Creamery, where she was the last person to be seen. And we know she came from the AmeriCorps, and we know she wasn't on a main road to get from the AmeriCorps over to the Marble Slab. So it was like putting together a puzzle. We had to backtrack. We knew we needed to get from here and we needed to get over here. And we needed to find out what was the easiest and simplest path to get from here to here. And that's how we came across the building and the witness that saw her, and the location where she most likely slept in the woods. We were able to find that from backtracking. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm noticing when I went up to this particular paragraph, it's going to start at where they found their bodies. And it sounds like work a little further back. And that is the way, because that's the only thing you know is right there. So you have to work from there and move backwards instead of working where they were and moving forward. So I just wanted to explain that a little bit. During further investigation, your affiant found a video surveillance video at 5903 Danny K. The video surveillance found that on December 21st, 2023, around 23:59, a Chevrolet Silverado, it's calling it gray, driving with its lights off from the vehicle recovered at the location. The Silverado pulled up into the middle of the back parking lot and parked the vehicle. The victim's vehicle could be seen approaching the Silverado. The victim's vehicle parked next to the Silverado, and a heavy-set male exited the Silverado, and the driver's side door of the victim's vehicle opened. The heavy-set male approached the driver of the victim's vehicle and appeared to speak to the driver. The heavy-set man then gets a towel from his vehicle, and it appears to wipe down the outside of the victim's door. Where he had touched the vehicle. The driver of the victim's vehicle exited the vehicle for a brief moment and sat back in the driver's seat. The driver did not match the description of the female victim or the male victim. The Hispanic male got back into his vehicle, and the victim's vehicle drove behind the building where the vehicle was found on December 26, 2023. The Silverado followed the victim's vehicle. Approximately 3 minutes later, the Silverado was seen observed leaving from behind the building where the victim's vehicle was found. The victim's vehicle did not leave the location. It was believed that the victims were already deceased in the vehicle at the time the video observed. It is believed the unknown driver and the heavy-set male observed parked the victim's vehicle at the location in an effort to hide the vehicle. On January 2nd, 2024, the affiant provided one of the victim's cell phone to Detective Knox at the Technical Investigation Unit. On January 3rd, 2024, the affiant received the download from the Detective Knox. Your affiant found that the victim had recently searched of the street of Charlie Chan Drive. Due to the affiant's knowledge of the crime scene area, the affiant was aware of Charlie Chan Drive was a couple blocks away from the affiant's victim's vehicle recovery location. And then it goes back. Your affiant was able to discover the victim's vehicle pinged at Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive at 2350 on the night they went missing. The vehicle did not start moving again until 2354. So it brings me back to my question. Just because those dates and times are in the affidavit, does it mean that they went to that location? Was Matthew and Savanah alive and in control of their vehicle at 2350? Because the things that are missing out of this affidavit, which did not have to be disclosed, because at the end of the day, it's irrelevant to the arrest affidavit. So they're only going to put the information in this affidavit necessary to affect the arrest. Any and all other information, they're going to withhold. So we don't know what time it is believed that Matthew and Savanah left their home. This is important because say they left their home at, say, 11, right? They left their home at 11. They would have probably been somewhere by 11:20. That's giving 34 minutes to hurt them, to argue with them before he ever drove that car to Charlie Chan. Now, again, I don't know whether they physically drove their car to Charlie Chan Drive or if they met them someplace else. And is there another spot on Charlie Chan, not at their home, that they could have met up at to have more privacy? These are all the questions that we are going to go over in this segment. Again, we're down to about an hour. You guys are going to have my time for roughly an hour, and then I've got to go. I won't be back here. I may do, because we're not going to be able to do a 2-hour live this morning. If I'm feeling up to it tonight around 6:30 or 7:30, I'll do another live wrapping up any additional information. But first, let's go to this interesting story. Alaskan Airlines. I know you guys have all heard about it. The side of the plane blew out. How crazy is that? I don't know about you. I fly a lot when I'm going to places. Like, I'm most likely going to have to fly into Idaho. We've been to Utah, Jackson, Wyoming. I've been to Texas. I've been all over the country. I've flown all over the country. We watch movies that basically, if there's a crack in the window, the whole entire side of the plane blows out and everybody flies out the window and the plane is doomed and goes crashing to the earth in a fiery ball, right? Well, this doesn't really have the reality. This has got to be one scary trip. I have to tell you, one scary trip. Without further ado, Alaskan Airlines.
This wasn't even the emergency. The National Transportation Safety Board is calling for change after a 737 MAX 9 lost a door plug while in the air Friday. Chair Jennifer Homendy says its cockpit voice recorder is blank. Regulators let them automatically rewrite after 2 hours. Homendy says that makes it harder to learn from accidents.
I'm calling on the FAA to change the rulemaking.
Homendy also says the flight had 3 babies seated in passengers'
laps.
laps.
My goodness.
They didn't have their own seats with safety belts amid pressure so strong it ripped off headrests.
We would urge passengers to put their children under 2 in their own seat in a FAA-approved car seat.
She adds that investigators have found that door plug that flew off.
They do need this panel to see if there are any flaws in the material.
Meanwhile, Boeing is set to hold a company-wide safety meeting tomorrow. A string of issues in recent years has some experts questioning the 737 MAX series.
As you get newer and newer planes, you usually have more and more safety.
If this truly is a failure that they tie back to Boeing, Boeing's going to have some real issues and some big questions to answer for sure.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
All right. So I just thought I'd bring that up because people have been
going crazy about this whole plane. And I have to say, this concerns me. And we are at the mercy of those planes and those plane operators. And let's be honest, these plane companies are ran by boards of directors that only look at profit. They don't look at other things. And it's sad that we as the public have to have like the FAA, all these different alphabet soups to make these people do the right thing, because these corporations, if left to their own devices, would destroy us for a buck, right? They would destroy us for a buck. And everybody knows they're saying, oh, you need a car seat. Listen, plane operators, plane companies, you know what? If you made reasonable airfare, maybe people wouldn't have to be putting their children on their lap. I mean, it's so darn costly to take an air trip this day and age. Think about it. And then not only that, you're always late. No, you are beholden to the airport and the aircraft, but they're not beholden to you. They will sit you on that plane and let you sweat your butt off just to try to get that plane up. And it's got to be the last ditch effort. The plane ain't going to stop before they unload you and reload you on another plane. As hassling as that is, why would you make your customers sit in the heat, unload them into AC while you fix the plane? Yes. Is it a pain in the butt? Of course it is. But you know what it's called? It's called customer service, which our airlines have lost. They don't even care anymore. They literally have no care, because they know you're not getting there without them. Think about that. How powerful is that? You are absolutely no longer their customer, because you can't go nowhere without them. And good Lord, let you be rude to one of them, they'll kick you off the plane just to show you they can. Just to show you they can, whether they're wrong, right, or indifferent. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of work that can be going on here, safety-wise, customer service-wise. The airport industry has to do better, in my opinion. They have to do better. People are not going to be flying with a plane if, for whatever reason, they think they're going to lose their life. I know I'm not. Okay. So quick little update. Brian Koberger. This is something Jennifer Stormos. I don't know. Somebody posted, and I thought it was interesting because I don't think we've seen it. I really don't. Here it is. Brian Koberger in class. Let's see if I can put this up big. There he is. There's the animal right there. Let's do it again. There he is right there. Let's do it again. There he is right there. He even looks stiff. He even looks stiff in this. Let's go back a little bit. He looks like he's trying too hard. Let's see. He just looks goofy. He just looks goofy. He looks like a problem. He doesn't look all there. I don't know. Maybe it's because wishful thinking. And then we'll go over John O'Keefe another day. I don't really have time for that right now. What is this one? Stanley Cup. What is this one about? I pulled this one for something, but now I don't even remember what it's about. So we're just gonna play it. It's something for you, and then we gotta get started.
Now, a love triangle ends in a stabbing on the city's west side. Police responded to an apartment on Arbor Ridge around 2 this morning. They found a man stabbed in the midsection. They say it all started when a woman's boyfriend showed up to his girlfriend's house, only to find her ex-boyfriend there. The two men started arguing in the parking lot, and police say the ex-boyfriend then stabbed.
Okay, I don't know why I grabbed that. That has nothing to do with what I was coming here to play for you. So we'll get on with this. I will tell you, this is a good article, a good clip from the family. The one thing I read, and it breaks my heart, but it seems like the families are working together. What breaks my heart the most is it does sound like that Matthew and Savanah are going to be buried separately. But it sounds like this is from what I don't remember reading this anywhere, but I remember hearing this, that it sounds like they're going to have the baby. It sounds like Matthew's going to be buried first or have his funeral first, whether he's cremated or whatever. I don't know how the family's handling that. But it sounds to me like Matthew's going to have his service first, and he's going to be able to have his baby with him at that service. So I hear. I don't know how true that is. And then the baby will be transported to have his final resting place with his mother. It's heartbreaking that Matthew and Savanah won't be buried together with their child. But it sounds like at least the families are working together. And I guess that's really all we can be very thankful for. And I'm just going to ask everybody, I know we have 200 people watching this morning, say a prayer for these families. You know, we don't have to agree with their lifestyle. We don't have to agree with anything. We don't have to literally agree with anything, but we can be good people and understand that this is a horrible situation and that these families are in grief. Many of us, thank God, don't know anything about, but they are in grief and we need to uplift them. You know, there's a lot of negativity because of the way these kids live their life. You know, you show me an 18 and a 21-year-old that's living a perfect life. Okay. You know, I don't care. You show me one that is. This is happening every day across this country. And if you're appalled with one, you need to be appalled with all. So these are the ones that lost their life. And that baby had the worst of it. And the bottom line is we can show some compassion, whether we agree or disagree. We can still be human beings and show compassion. And this family, absolutely, without a doubt, this entire family, their friends, everybody needs compassion. And instead of pointing the fingers and acting like we're holier than thou, maybe we need to be doing things like words of encouragement, words of uplifting. You know, instead of condemning this family, maybe give them some suggestions, some love, you know, a hand out, a hand up rather, telling them that we're here for you, that we may not agree with the lifestyle, but we can understand the pain. And as humans, we care. And I think that that's what the family needs more than anything, is just to know that the world cares, because at the end of the day, we do. We're angry, a little boy lost his life, and that's enough to make us angry. But you tell me one 18-year-old that's living life perfectly. You tell me what 18-year-old is not risking their life over dumb stuff. I'd like you to start listing them. Because the 18-somethings that I know all do stupid stuff, just like you have done, just like I have done. We were just the lucky ones that it didn't catch up with us like this. So before you start casting that first stone at that glass house, just saying. Just saying. I try to be fair, I really do. I trust me, I'm angry too. Of all people, I love children. I don't want any child being hurt, ever. I will go to the ends of the earth when it comes to children. I can guarantee that.
Love music gear, but hate the price? When you buy used and like new music gear on Reverb, you can save an average of 30%.
First at 10, a father and son arrested in the deaths of a pregnant teen and her boyfriend. These are brand new mugshots of 19-year-old Christopher Preciado and 53-year-old Ramon Preciado.
Police believe that Christopher shot and killed Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra just before midnight on December 21st. Ramon is accused of helping his son hide the couple's bodies.
And
it's sad. It's sad because you know what? At the end of the day, you got to think of it like this. These families didn't even know. Even when they reported them missing for the first time, they were already gone. That's chilling to me. Just how quickly life can change in a split second.
New tonight, emotional reaction from both of the victims' families. KENS 5 reporter Megan Reyna has been covering this case from the start and joins us live with the latest. Megan?
Well, EC's Henry, we now know that both Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra were killed before their families even realized that they were missing. Both families tell me tonight they are relieved to hear about these arrests, but they know this is just the beginning to fully getting justice.
I came across Fabian's glove, and it brought back talks me and Matt had about.
Okay, guys, I will tell you that this is emotional, and I'm going to tell you when I watched this, it was hard for me not to cry. So if you're ultra emotional, I've got to because I'm going to tell you this is going to make me cry. Okay, so if you guys don't feel like being a sobbing mess to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're going to have to weigh that decision on yourself. Tell me that's not heartbreaking.
Different sports he was going to be in. So,
Little glove. Oh my gosh.
This one hurts.
Thursday, Gabriel Guerra visited his son's apartment where a nursery was set up for baby Fabian. Hung up on the walls by the crib were these ultrasound photos.
I wish I could have seen him, the father, stage of his life.
Instead, both families are finalizing funeral plans.
Nothing's gonna, fix the heartaches that we're having to deal with.
Both families watched online Wednesday night as 19-year-old Christopher Preciado and his father, 53-year-old Ramon Preciado.
I gotta tell you, the one thing that irritated, that just it unnerved me so bad was when this man right here, Raymond, when he sat there and said fake news. I'm just like, you know what? You know where you were. You know what you did. And to sit up here and scream fake news, not remorse, not I'm sorry, not, like this was these were human beings, but more importantly, it was an innocent baby. And you're going to be up there screaming fake news? You have got to be kidding me. Like, you are on camera, dude. Fake news. Poor baby.
Were taken away in handcuffs. In these arrest affidavits, it states investigators used Savannah's cell phone and surveillance video to track these two down and bring them in for questioning. It states Christopher admitted to police he was meeting Savanah and Matthew for a marijuana deal. Christopher claimed Matthew pointed a gun at him, which is what led up to the shootings. But detectives say his claims were inconsistent with the couple's gunshot wounds. Both were shot behind the ear, according to family. It's unclear.
Okay, so again, both shot behind the ear. We know it was a contact wound. This is not somebody that wrestled with a gun. I think you and I think we've all come to, even the pro, Chris and Ramon, we're going to hear them. They're probably already got 15,000 chats to pull these animals out of jail, right? Because they didn't do it. Good Lord. I mean, the girl in the video was a girl, right? It wasn't a dude with long hair with a big old fat father. Excuse me. I probably shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I got to remember I used to be overweight too, right? But it's just frustrating for me because this poor baby, and there's no explanation for it. And then he's screaming fake news. And then you see this, the grandparents, a baseball glove. Talk to me about that. How, this was the boy, this was going to be the pride and joy. I hate to tell you guys, let me break this down to you. This little boy, baby Fabian, was about to be the ruler of the roost. This child was about to be crowned King Fabian. I mean, just to put it in perspective of how these families felt about this baby. I mean, Grandpa already has his first baseball glove. Tell me that ain't some love. Already dreaming about playing catch with your grandchild. I mean, I can't quite put those feelings into words. I mean, it's just emotional. It is just so emotional.
Where the shootings took place, but his father, Ramon, is accused of driving to the Med Center apartment complex to help his son hide the bodies.
They're all gone over marijuana. You know what I mean? Like,
Savanah's older brother, Jordan Corona, says it's almost unbearable to go through this pain again. Just last year, his brother, Ethan Soto, was murdered.
It was a never-ending love for her son. It was a never-ending love that she had, and you know, it would have been a beautiful thing to be able to watch. But you know, the thing that I tell myself is that my little brother needed them more, and she needed my little brother more.
Aw. I gotta be honest with you. Seeing him in this much pain, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. These are young people, and you know, to think, and just like he said, to think that 3 people are dead over marijuana. Remember that low level drug that doesn't kill anybody, that's harmless, right? That's harmless. How about the vapes? The vapes killed his little brother. Who would ever think vapes or a vape would cost somebody their life? I think that once we start coming to realization that maybe because marijuana isn't dangerous for us specifically, I mean, you know, honestly, you may have 15,000 illegal deals successful, but it only takes the one. It only takes the one time. You can be sitting there and have 1 million successful transactions, but it only takes one to clean your clock. Just one. They met the one.
And both family members tell me tonight that they want the district attorney to seek the death penalty in this case. The district attorney did release a statement today saying that it's just too soon to say if his office will do so. But he did say that Christopher could face an additional charge of capital murder for the death of baby Fabian. And both Christopher and his father were made here in the Bexar County Jail tonight. Reporting live, Megan Reyna, KINS 5.
So we know a few things from this report. Okay, we know that both the father and the son still remain behind bars where they deserve to be. The weird thing is where the truck color, you know, the truck color is a dark truck color. But I was actually kind of interested in the fact that it's more burgundy than anything. We've got enough people that have been submitting and driving by. We're going to go through all the videos and photos that we have. This is the one that shows, I'm going to put it up on the big screen, that shows, remember, everybody's looking for mom and the girlfriend. We've got her captured. We've got her captured. I may have to take, let me take my my overlay off real quick. There we go. Here's mom or girlfriend. We haven't seen anybody really in, you know, this house. So I went back and started looking. This is the car before they put, you know, baby killer on it. And you can see the heavy police presence. It is my belief that this was the day that they went and detained Christopher and his father. So we're just going to go through some of the videos, and then we're going to look at the maps and see if we can determine what location did this happen at their house. Again, we're going to have a timing issue because we don't know how long Savanah and Matthew were with Chris before they died. We have no information on how long this tour take. We only have the time that their car pulled up at this house at Charlie Chan, but there's no guarantee that they were operating that vehicle when it pulled up into this driveway at, 10 minutes before the car was dumped. They could have already been dead. We have no information. We're putting a lot of assumptions in this. So I just want to make sure if we're going to assume, we're going to be assuming multiple different ways, not just one way where people think it's factual information. We have no idea where these people were assaulted and killed. According to the probable cause affidavit, they specifically state different locations in this. Does that mean outside the car, inside the car, or specifically a different address altogether? Were there two separate addresses that that Savanah and Matthew were executed at? They seem to have been executed in the same exact manner. Was one of them under his control longer than the other? Those are questions I now have. We have law enforcement there. And one thing that we heard from the neighbors, which was a little odd, is that they never taped up this house, even when they took, because they did execute a search warrant on this property. But according to the neighbors, they never put crime scene tape around this house. But they did come out with a lot of evidence, or what could be perceived as evidence. Now we're going to do a overview of the house. This is that somebody had did a what are those things called? The drones. So here, so now you can see. Let me turn this music off real quick. And you can see they have almost like a cantina behind their house. That's what they call it when they drive by, is a cantina, but it's like a bar or something right back here. But this is a like an area. We don't know what type of area, but it's an area. So this is just their, and I wonder where the black car is. The black car still there? Yes, it is. But look at their car. Oh, and then look at that. Look at what the it's a skull. Not that it's a big deal, you know, it's that whatever's Vendetta or whatever. I can't remember the name of the movie that this came from, but it was a V for Vendetta or something like that. I can't remember the name of the movie. But as you see, this was a dark color Chevy Silverado, but not gray, not black, but a dark burgundy. But we definitely had some people that went out there and really wanted to, you know, capture this home as much as they could. And we've got a few drive-bys, and then we're going to get into location stuff, and then that should wrap up our V for Vendetta. I think that's the name of it. Yeah. And there's somebody there. Oh, this is when they are putting out the memorial at the stop sign. And then lastly, a ride through the neighborhood. A ride through the neighborhood to give you a lay of the land. I thought this was an interesting view. And you can see their house right. Wait, I think it's down at the end. There it is, right there. There's the house. And this was after they painted his car. I don't believe in vandalism. I believe law enforcement, like, don't jeopardize your well-being to, you know, don't jeopardize your well-being to get even, or, you know, things like that. I really don't believe in them. It's not good. And you're going to get yourself in trouble. And somebody may already be in trouble. I mean, think about it. You don't know what kind of cameras are there. I mean, we see people being able to videotape outside of their house. They're not in a rural area. There's people all over the place, and I'm pretty sure somebody has that captured of who did that to their vehicle. And lastly, I'm just going to go ahead and put this video back up. I think I'm gonna go to TikTok. I like my TikTok video. I'm probably gonna get hit by the music, but that's okay. I'll get it out. But I like my TikTok video on this one because I added some context before I went right into, because we were just talking about the case. So, and we found out on our live that the phone, Matthew's phone, is actually with law enforcement. Law enforcement has Matthew's phone. Everybody's been saying that law enforcement doesn't have Matthew's phone. They did acknowledge having Matthew's phone literally only one time and one time only. And I believe that was by design. I mean, he is a known drug dealer that was getting weight moved into his community. I'm pretty sure law enforcement is going to utilize his phone to find out how they're able to get these drugs into their community, because let's face it, it is the drugs that just now killed 2 people and an unborn baby. I mean, that's the way if I was law enforcement, I would be looking at this. So with that being said, let me go ahead and put this up. I like this one. I have to be honest. I like this one better. Okay, I do. I like this one better. I like the music. I just like it better.
Savanah Soto. I have some breaking news in the Savanah Soto case. Some breaking news in the Savanah Soto case. Savanah Soto was a pregnant 18-year-old mom-to-be, and she was reported missing on December 23rd. I have some breaking news.
Every time I touch
it
changes it. Oh my God.
Soto
I'm gonna
was
leave
a
it be.
pregnant 18-year-old mom-to-be, and she was reported missing on December 23rd. We also learned that her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, was also missing at the time of her disappearance. Due to an altercation, many people thought he was responsible for her disappearance. He soon found out that to be different. Christopher and Ramon Preciado were arrested in connection with the death of baby Fabian.
Okay, we're done. I can't seem to get this thing right. It keeps pausing it. I don't know what to do. So that's it. That's all I want to show you. So now we're going to get into the property area, the location. You guys get the gist of it. We found the phone. The phone's not missing at all. The phone is actually with law enforcement. I think there is a true reason for that. So this is Charlie Chan Drive, and they are at 57. Actually, let me get Google Earth up here. I think Google Earth is always so much better. Hold on a second. I don't know why I didn't put it up first. MapQuest is okay. You know what I'm saying? It's all. It's aight. It's aight. Let me get the, and then we'll go. Just had Google Earth up, and then I accidentally hit the exit button. There we go. Get Google Earth up, yeah. So now we're going to give it just a second to boot up. Here we are, going to Texas. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Let's get down to the road. Yeah, shall we? I'm going to find that drive again. Hold on here. Okay, so there we are. So now we're going to put our person down there. Let's put the person right here. All right, so there's the house. There's the house, and it's got the truck in it. So I'm wondering if that truck, is that still a burgundy-looking truck? I can't really tell. I can't really tell if that's a burgundy truck or not, but let's just go ahead and get a different view. Oops. Yeah. So there's the house from a preview. So it looks pretty populated here. Let's just go down the road and see what's at the end of the road. Because they met at Charlie Chan. There's not really a whole lot to park at. Oops, I just hit something. Oops, let me take that off. show your location. I don't want to show my location. Let me move this. I hit a button by accident. I'm probably going to have, I'm going to open up the phones. I'm going to have Karen, because Karen was trying to explain something to me last night about 24/7 watching, only 83 likes. Come on, guys. Oh yeah, smash the like button, guys. If you guys haven't, the like button really does help our channel get out, help these videos get out further. This is kind of a case that a lot of people have a lot of interest in. We're just trying to find out some details about the case that isn't being widely talked about. I mean, we know the facts of the case. The facts of the case are very bleak to the public. It's just basically that, you know, this young pregnant mom to be was reported missing on the 23rd. People believe she went missing sometime on the 22nd. We found out that wasn't true. They went missing on the 21st. There's a lot of hurt feelings between the families, because I think there at the beginning, they thought maybe Matthew was involved with her disappearance. Then come to find out he was right next to her. And it was this crazy 19-year-old kid that executed them, and his father helped them dump the body. And other than that, we really don't have any information. We don't know whose gun was used in the crime. We don't know where the crime took place. We just know, based upon the arrest affidavit, that their car pulled up at Charlie Chan Drive. Within 4 minutes, the car was moving again. And within 10 minutes of that time, the car was physically dumped at the Med apartment complex behind, where we saw a video of a heavyset guy, a dark-colored Silverado, and somebody that appeared to be a female. It was somebody with long, dark hair. Come to find out, Christopher just so happens to have long, dark hair, and from a distance looks like a girl. I mean, in all fairness, not to be disrespectful to him. I mean, I really don't care if I'm disrespectful to him. As far as I'm concerned, he is, you know, he killed the baby, an innocent, helpless little baby, and has absolutely no respect from Bullhorn Betty or this channel. So I really don't care about that. But the bottom line is we are literally going, like, everything that we're talking about, that all these channels are talking about, is really conjecture and opinion. It's in perspective. It's really not factual, because, and it can't be factual because we're going on such bleak facts. It makes it almost impossible to decide what really happened here based upon what has been provided to the public. All we do know is that these kids were killed on the 21st, and their bodies weren't found until the 26th. And and we know that their bodies were dumped before midnight on the 21st. Other than that, where the crime happened, how the crime happened, was there really a marijuana deal gone bad? Was there something else? That's all opinion and conjecture. We do not know, nor are we going to know. Even the family doesn't have these answers. So if the family doesn't have these answers, law enforcement's not divulging these answers, everything that we talk about related to this case has to be considered rumor, opinion, and perspective, and speculative. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that whenever you hear this stuff, nobody has any new information. We're all speculating here based upon this very vague arrest affidavit. Very vague arrest affidavit. All right, so Karen, I'm going to ask you to call in to, because I know we've been talking about this case quite a bit. And let me get my Google Voice. Guys, please let Karen call in to the Google Voice. But I want her to tell, because I'm down to the wire. I literally have about 30 minutes. So Karen, you've got 30 minutes to kind of explain the possible locations. So I want Karen, hopefully Karen's in the chat. If Karen's not in the chat, we're just going to go ahead and wait until this afternoon and have these conversations later today, right? There she is. Hold on. Switch you. Okay, I got it. All right, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Let me make sure everybody can hear you. Yeah, it looks like everybody can hear you. All right, so you've got the floor. I know we were talking about some stuff, and I can't show the map with you on the phone because then I can't show two screens at once. But I'm just going to kind of let you have the floor and explain to everybody what you were explaining to me. And I'm not going to interrupt you or ask you any questions until you're kind of done because I want them to follow
Okay.
you.
All right. Well, I called you last night. I had wanted to run some things by you, and what I've been thinking is I don't believe that they were unalived at that house. Just for the fact that the way the father pulled up in that truck kind of looked like frantic to me. And I believe why would they be cleaning up at that scene when they could have done it right at their home? You know, it was done there, and then just took off, dumped the car, and left. So I don't believe that. I do believe he was probably not unalived in that car, according to what they're saying. But I just find it kind of odd. Like, I mean, I don't believe it would have gotten out and got into Chris's vehicle because how did he get him on the right side if it was really actually on the right side, like they first said?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then like I told you, I was really upset because this all happened like within 9 minutes. Under 9 minutes, we don't know how long Savanah and Matthew could have survived. It could have been minutes, even 5 minutes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that baby could have possibly been saved if they would have just reached out for help. If it was an accident like they said, which I don't believe that. The evidence doesn't show that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that they, I'm not sure if you've heard, like, I haven't looked into it since I talked to you, but I don't remember the police. I don't know if when they got Savannah's phone, I know they got the text going back and forth, and I guess his name came up and the location of the street location. Do you know? Well, I know you want to wait till I'm done. I'm not sure if they found there was an address, or they just looked up the kid and found out the address with the house number on that street and went
Mhm.
there. So I'm thinking I heard like from day one, pretty much somebody had put out there, I don't know, on TikTok, that there was like some kind of lot, and I think it was a dirt lot, and that's where this happened. So I'm thinking that one, either Chris, send them to the house or just follow me and we'll go over here, or I think if that was the case, I don't know if the cops actually know the exact location and just not saying. But I have a funny feeling. I just don't believe it was done at that house because I think he would, the father would have heard something. He would have ran into the house. If it was an accident, on top of all that, why not just call for help?
Right.
And the way he said Savannah got hit accidentally, that's impossible because there would have been bullet wounds coming out of that car.
They said
There
both
would
of
have been,
them
there would have been,
had a contact wound with a
yes,
shot behind the ear for both of them.
yeah.
That's an
Didn't you hear the
execution.
right ear in the beginning? Wasn't it even just
I don't
stated?
want to say right or left because even the recent news allegations haven't been discerning between right or left.
Oh, okay, because I thought the chief had said that. I know when he demonstrated, he had the right, but I'm almost positive, 100% positive, he did say the right. So I'm not 100% sure on that because if that's the case, I mean, he'd have to be to the left of Matthew. So I'm thinking maybe got out of the car and right off the bat he just had put that right to him. This was planned. This was
Yeah, but you
set
know
up and
what?
planned, in
It
my
comes
opinion.
back to kind of taking your analysis that that this did not happen at their house. So when we read in this affidavit that the car pulled up at that Charlie Chan Drive, they could have already been dead at 2350 when that car pulled up at that location, don't you think? If they were killed at separate locations. They
Right.
couldn't have been killed
Now, are they
there.
saying that they definitely did pull up at that house? That
Yeah, it
address?
says right here, your affiant was able to discover that the victim's vehicle pinged near Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive around 2350 on the night they went missing. The vehicle did not start moving again until 2354. That's only 4 minutes. So if they were at
Right.
that Charlie Chan address in Cary Grant, which is that crossroad right there that shows their home, that's their home at 2350. So one of two things happened. They were either killed at that home or they were already dead when that car pulled up at 2350. Those are the only two possibilities in my mind.
Yeah, that's true. I just found it weird. I explained that to you. I think if they would have been killed at that home, they would have had that place roped off. I mean, they really didn't have crime scene tape around that house. They would have had that whole thing taped off, looking for evidence, and I never saw it. And that neighbor that's been doing all the video, he was on duty last night. Duty Ron.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching it, and he lives right across the street with surveillance camera. And they've never gone to that guy's house and asked for it till this day. I find that kind of strange, that they
Well,
wouldn't
in
seek that out.
situations like that, you would hope that if he knows the law enforcement is not coming to him, that hopefully he reaches out to them and turns the
He
footage
did,
over.
yeah, he did. He hasn't heard back yet.
Oh, he
That
will
was
hear
kind of
back.
strange.
He will not.
No.
No, they will not. They will not hear. They will not hear back from law enforcement, not unless they have follow-up questions. When you turn stuff over to law enforcement, they do their thing, but you typically don't hear back from them, like them calling you and telling you thank you, or they don't. They just take the evidence, they review it, and it's either good evidence or it isn't, and they move on or they run with it. It's one or the other, but they very rarely call anybody back.
Yeah, they haven't even gone and gotten it off him. He's called to tell me he has surveillance.
Oh, then he just needs to
video.
send it to him. Find an email to the detective and just forward it over.
Yeah, I think that's what they told him. Because if you would have, called me, I would have made sure that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping they're not, messing this case up, because he also has on video when they picked up the truck, took the truck away.
Mm-hmm.
It was the truck driver with no boots or nothing on that got into the truck and drove that up on the
Yeah, well, his truck
tow truck himself.
a whole lot of evidence in it, and even with the
Yeah.
fingerprints and stuff, they'll eliminate that. They'll be looking more for microscopic
Yeah.
transfer.
Right. And it's just I don't know. I just don't have the feeling that they were unalived yet. I think they would be, and they're stating it had to have been out of the car. They only found first. They said casings in the beginning. Now they're putting it down to one. So if there's only one, then you know what I mean.
And that's what made
got,
me believe when they said they were killed at separate locations. Why it made me believe that maybe Matthew was killed outside the car and she was killed inside the car, making those two separate locations. But other people are interpreting as it being physical locations, like one address and then another address.
Right.
Not different locations on the same property, literally different physical locations. So I'm not sure how I interpret that, but when I heard Justice for All reading it, I was kind of interpreting the way he was interpreting it as well, as two separate address locations. So I'm trying to find it right now in the probable cause affidavit. So you can go ahead and keep talking, and I'm going to keep reading this until I find that language.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm kind of. They just said it was blood smear on one of the doors on the passenger side of the car, and so I'm thinking he, it happened so quick. I'm thinking for him to get him the back of the head, the way the chief was, showing it, he would have had to have gotten out of the car. And he would have had to put the gun right to his head quickly. You know what I mean? And then drag them in. But, when I'm with the drag marks, I'm just wondering about that second location. If it was that dirt lot area that's somewhere on that road, he could have scraped them. I mean, obviously his back could have got scraped either way, dragging them either way. But just probably dragging them up into the car, he could have got scraped from the bottom of the car, when you open the door. So there's a lot of different things. And, obviously they're not telling us everything. So we won't find none of that out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just got that vibe, and I've been kind of going along with my gut. It's been almost accurate, not all of it, but so I just think I'm going to continue.
And we missed this. We missed this in the affidavit too, and it told us also in the affidavit that they had his phone. It says here on page 2, 1, 2, 3, looks like the 5th paragraph down, the very last sentence. It says the family of the male provided your affiant with his phone number. With his phone number, not his phone. Okay, never mind.
Right.
I read that wrong.
Yeah, because I had told you, I was wondering if the chief just spoke. And when he said victims' phones, I was thinking maybe, we knew he had Savannah's, because that came out. I was wondering if they were talking about, Savannah's and Chris's, which would put 2 phones, plural. And for some reason, he put victims in there and didn't, state it right. I was just wondering if that was a misstatement, because we really don't have 100% confirmation on Matthew's phone, which I don't know why.
Yeah, I think the reason why his phone has been under secrecy is because I think he was the mover and the shaker of the deal, and I think they had to look at all avenues, including his dealers, as possible retaliation against him because there was claims going into law enforcement that that they snitched. And if
Right.
that's the case, if it was a snitching situation, then they were probably kept the phone under wraps because they were looking at all the dealers and all his suppliers and clients as possibilities. Because right here it says again on page 2, most of this is on page 2 of the affidavit. It says it was stated that people wanted to rob the boyfriend, and it was stated that the boyfriend had been shot at before.
Right. So he was very careful. He was just, Matthew was very street smart. He was been at this for a long time, and he was very street smart. He never, according to his family, he never went anywhere without a weapon. And so I'm wondering whose weapon that is. You know, what I mean, I still think that Chris had to have had a weapon. I don't believe he fought that.
Okay, well, let's look at this. Let's look at this from both angles. Let's say that Matthew did have his weapon with him, and this is Matthew's weapon that truly did kill Savanah as well as Matthew. How did Christopher get a hold of that gun?
Well, that's what I'm saying. To get a hold of that would have been a bit of a struggle, and then to get him with a contact wound, that's like when you overpower someone to be able to get someone in that position, it wouldn't have been a clear shot like that.
You're already passing the question though, because it's
What
how
was the
would
question?
he get possession of that gun? We need to look at all possibilities. Was he in the back seat of
Right.
the car and reached over and just grabbed it out of his waistband? How did Matthew hold his gun? How did he carry his gun? Where was his gun typically located in that vehicle when he carried it? Was it just in the center console? Was it sitting in his lap? How would Christopher be able to get possession of that handgun to fire it at either one of them? We need to look at that.
Right. Well, I did see in a lot of the pictures he had it in the right where the shifter was, in the console, with pictures with that the weapon and money. Now, whether that's just a picture that he posted, and that's not how he carried it, I don't know. But
I would have to
I
think
know.
that's probably how he carries it then. And that would make
Yeah.
sense because if anybody knew him, knew if he carried it like that, he knew all he would need to do was slide in the middle of the back seat and just reach over and grab it. Boom, boom.
Yeah, but don't you think that's a big risk?
It's a big risk,
take that
but
chance.
obviously Chris was willing to take it. I mean, we
Yeah.
do have 2 dead people, one heavily pregnant.
Right. Yeah, it's just I'll have to go over the affidavit too and break it down a little more, but that's just a feeling I'm getting. I don't know. I always said from day one that when the truck showed up that he was after the fact. I mean, just the way he was dressed alone. I mean, I don't think you're gonna go and hit some unalive somebody.
Well, we
dressed
definitely
in,
know
the way he did.
this is the part I think we definitely know that the car that Savanah and Matthew were in went to his
Right.
home. It did
Right.
drive to his home, whether they were killed there or whether he just ran inside to wake his dad up to help him dump
Right.
these. It doesn't either way, that car made it to that home. That car went to that house.
I wasn't 100% sure if they actually had the address and that they actually went there. So,
They don't, but
you know.
there's only 2 addresses on that corner. There's only 2 addresses at the because it said it showed up at where's the Charlie Chan? I think it's
I believe his business the father's business wasn't too far from the home neither.
Yeah, but it says the affiant was able to discover from the vehicles pinged near Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive, and there are a corner lot right on Charlie Chan and Cary Grant.
Right.
So that car had to have gone to their house.
Right. I think if he would have been shot outside that house, everything being done so fast and it being so late at night, I can't. Well, I mean, it could possibly. I don't know how smart Chris is, but I would think they would found another casing outside the car at that location. Whether they have or not, I'm not saying. I don't know. I don't see
Yeah,
why
no,
they
that I
wouldn't.
don't think they're going to tell us where the other casing is. I know they found the other crime
Right.
scene if they put that in here because I did find that area of this affidavit where it indicates the second location. And again, this is up for interpretation. Is this physically meaning location inside car versus outside car, or one property versus another? You know, location could have a different definition to whomever is authoring this. So this is what it says verbatim, though. It says when the search
Right.
warrant arrived at the location, a search of the vehicle was conducted. The search found spent shell casing in the vehicle. It said casing, or not plural,
Okay.
just one singular
Right.
casing in the vehicle. However, there was no weapon recovered in the vehicle. There was apparent blood transfer on the outside of the vehicle that was not consistent with the boyfriend causing the harm to the female. Both female and male had gunshot wounds to the head. The male also had apparent drag marks on his back. It is believed that the female and male were killed at different location and the vehicle was driven to the recovered location. And
That's
it's this
weird. The
last,
different locations.
yeah, it's this last sentence that has me perplexed. It says it was believed that the female and male were killed at a different location. And then
Yeah.
the
So
vehicle,
one could be
I think
inside and one
people are
could be outside the
misinterpreting
car.
that because it's saying that
Right.
they were killed at a different location, not both man and female were killed at separate locations, but that the killing
Yes.
took place at a different location and then the vehicle was physically driven to the recovered location. That would make
Which
sense, and
could.
that puts it back at possibly them being unalived at this property or somewhere near the vicinity of Christopher's home.
Right. So that could just mean one inside and one outside, right?
No, it doesn't
For the
even mean
car.
that. It just basically means
No.
that the car, where they were murdered at, is a different location than where the car was dumped at.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Because
Makes
this is
sense.
what it says. It said it was believed that the female and male were killed at a different location, not locations, plural, at a
Right.
different location, and the vehicle was driven to the recovered location. So those were the
Right.
two separate locations, the death location and the dump location, not two separate
Right. Yeah.
locations where they were unalived.
Yeah. Right. That makes sense. That's what I'm believing. Yeah.
Okay, so that at least because I was questioning that and when Justice read that to me, I'm like, oh, there was two separate locations, and now I reread it in context, and now I do see, yes, the car was in a different location. The dump location is definitely not where they were unalived at. I think that was well established early on.
Yeah. That's that I believe. Yeah, that makes sense. That I always believe that anyway. I just don't. I think they were both killed in the same exact spot. Maybe just him outside the car and
Right.
her inside. Yeah.
Right.
Because that was too fast. And what was he gonna do with her? You know what I mean? He wasn't gonna try and scream or fight for her life or anything. You know, she would have done something, I'm sure. Because I always believe. I know you thought the opposite, but I always believed that he was done first because he was the threat. She wasn't really
Well,
as
I
much of
think
a
the
threat
reason
as he
why
was.
I don't know who went first and who didn't. I think the reason why
Right.
I assumed that she went first is because the family or the rumor was that he was tortured. And there's nothing
Yeah.
more
Right.
torturous than watching your baby's mother with
Mhm.
your baby still in her belly being
Right.
unalived right in front of you. That's got to be a pretty brutal experience.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was same in the first, but then I'm like, well, he's the one that was the threat. And then I never believed when they said the tying up and that he was tortured and things would cut. I didn't believe that for a second. I really didn't. Because I mean, why would the chief that night say that he wasn't sure if it was he unalived or not? If they were tied up and there's no weapon, he would obviously know that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So kind of threw everybody off, the family saying that when, I mean, they looked in that car briefly, it was a quick thing. And
Yeah.
I just believe the pants came down because of the them putting him in the back seat.
Yeah, and I
But
think you even
I
said
didn't
that
believe
at
none
the
of.
beginning. There was a lot of wondering about the pants and stuff like that. But
Yeah, they must have seen with the pants on. They put in their head, okay, this was this kind of a hit, and this is what happened. He was tortured. So they just threw things out there, and they talk about social media people doing it, but they had all kinds of crazy stuff coming out themselves from that same within an hour,
hold
and
on
they're
just
still
a
on some
second.
crime scene. Yep.
Pink Bow says, okay, I'm gonna go since y'all don't want to answer my question to see you guys another time. I don't know what your comments are. Use initials when meant. Yeah, we don't use creators' names in here. We have a very strict policy on that. If I call somebody out, this is kind of when it comes to other creators, it's do as I say, not as I do. So I'll talk about them because it's my channel, but I don't want you guys talking about them. I don't want you guys getting involved in the drama or being, blasted or stuff. And I just find it easier just to keep other people's names out of it. It's not that we're ignoring you, as I'm having a conversation, as you can tell with I am Team Summer. Listen to me. With the real Me Too. So it's because I was looking right at I am Team Summer on my screen and just reading what I'm looking at. So just it's okay. But we don't. For me, if you're on this channel, you'll know that I really very rarely read the chat unless somebody brings something to my attention. So do what
Being
you will.
called I am Team Sum's a compliment. So
I know.
I don't mind.
It's a sweet doll.
Yeah, they all are.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just this is definitely a good conversation type of story. I mean, there's a lot of what's been put out there and what hasn't, and the updated. It's definitely good conversation and come up with different aspects.
Yeah,
Like I said,
and just analyzing this because it's going to take it's kind of like a round table type of discussion when it comes to this case because the information is so vague, and if we're going to find something that makes sense, we're going to have a discussion about it because this affidavit, I can tell you, that doesn't make sense, and it didn't clear up anything for me.
No, I know. They talk about the weapon law. I was watching another channel that you had mentioned to me, and they were talking, when they're going to see if what's his name's printed on it, Matthews and stuff. And but how are they going to find out if that really was Matthews' weapon? I mean, they weren't all legit. I wonder how they're going to trace that
The
back.
family would know. I mean, they've got
Would
ways
they?
of knowing.
Yeah, so many weapons.
They've got his phone. They know what. I mean, it's not like he didn't brag about almost just about every single gun he's got. So
I know. Yeah, I'm just curious about that,
Yeah.
And like that he could have very easily put Matthew's prints on his weapon if it was his to just say, this is what happened. But I mean, it all happened in so fast and frenzy that kid didn't think about covering anything up the right way, except for getting rid of them quickly.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be the downfall. And then the one thing with the last press conference is you look at the chief, you got to watch their behavior. I mean, the point where they were talking about the third person and about it being the mom, and he kind of like had a little smirk there and couldn't answer the question. Kind of said a lot too about that third person there. But there's no way anybody can deny that third person
There's a
was
third
in there.
person in the car. They knew that there was a
There's
third
no
person in the
denying
car.
it.
They didn't want to answer that in the way that the police
Exactly.
looked at it and it acted. It seemed to me that they're going to use that person more for a witness than anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That everyone just hopped in that truck. Whoever that third person was. Who knows? There's even another one in there, but we definitely know there's a third, and they're talking. Obviously, I mean, they're not going to go down for that. But
I'm
they know
surprised
who
the father, having a business would jeopardize his I mean, he's got other children he's got to worry about. He's got a home, he's got a business. Like, I just don't understand. Again, this is my drumbeat. Like, don't put your neck out there too far for your children. Your children are your children. You love them, but you are no good to anybody you love if you're in the cell right next to them. You've got to be out to help them.
I can understand the father wanting to help, and I mean, something frantic like that. Like, what did you do? I'll be right
What do
there.
you do?
But then when you do, you call the police. and that's the best way he could have helped his son.
He
You
could
know,
have
they
done
could have
an
taken him out.
anonymous tip to the police to direct them to that car much sooner. He could have done it that night to try to salvage them, to save the baby. There was a litany of things this man could have done if he gave a damn about human life. He was a father.
Right.
He should have showed his son what a father really is, and he didn't. He
Yeah. And they had them 5 days, so that's why Christopher came up like, oh, she was hit accidentally. You know, because everyone was like, why her? Why the baby? So he already had that alibi, you know, for her. And the evidence is definitely not going in that direction, you know. But I mean, the father by
How
right
can
should
you
just they
explain
should just
two
call for help.
gunshot wounds behind the ear with close contact?
Exactly. So I don't know. Maybe who knows if she was trying to get out, and he went over to the driver's side after Matthew and got it because she was. I'm taking that the right side because that's what the chief said the first night. I'm pretty sure he said on the right side. I'm not sure if he said right, but he had had it. He said behind the right ear. I'm almost positive on that. So that's the only thing that's throwing me off because there's a difference. I mean, if it was the left side, then Matthew could have gotten his vehicle and Matthew's head would have been to the left of him. So that right side kind of takes me to believe that Matthew was done outside the car. If it's true, it was the right side,
Yeah.
But that's what he did state. So, and I think that's what happened. Is one was outside, and then he could have just went right around to her, and it would have been to the right side of her, And it had to be pretty. I would think hers was close contact too, because I don't believe the bullet ever exited their body.
Hold on, it's determined both of them were shot behind them. Close contact.
Yeah, exactly. So he had, he could have ran around the car and got her right away. Obviously, he would have had to got her right away. She would have seen everything. So some people think it might have happened in the garage, inside the house and all this, but I don't know. I just
What
don't
if
get that
this guy
feeling.
was on, because I mean, these young kids these days are on such massive amounts of different narcotics and different substances, and probably substances we don't even know anything about at this point. I
Right.
mean, the chemicals and the synthetics and all this other stuff, there's probably stuff that the kids are doing we literally know nothing about. And what if he was just under substances and just, like you said, the gun was in the middle console, him getting in, him not wanting to pay for it. He just looked at that gun and just that split second without that impulse control, grabs it, boom, boom, and like, what do I do now?
I know. And over weed, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, really? But I mean, I don't know. It's how young kids think, I guess. I'm just wondering if money. There had to be money somewhere. One or the other had money on them. So where's the money? Obviously, if you kill them, you didn't pay
Where's
them.
the money? Where's
If
the
you robbed
drugs?
them,
Where's the
where's
money? Drugs and gun.
Yeah. They found the weapon. Who's to say they didn't find it? And they've only given so much out. I don't know. But yeah, who's to say?
And if
It's
money
just
and guns and the drugs are missing from that vehicle, why is it there a burglary or robbery or some type of theft charge for Chris as well?
Right. Well, they say more charges will be coming. I believe there's definitely going to be more charges coming. But they had the 5 days. They celebrated Christmas. They posted about Christmas. The mother, whether it's the girlfriend, I guess it's he's not. They're saying he's not married to the girlfriend. Some people are saying that his mother's passed away. So
Yeah, it's all
100%.
speculative. We don't. I mean, even when you said it, you just said 5 different things. We don't know. We don't know.
But they had them 5 days. You know what I mean? To think of what to say, and I think that's why heat was on because it was a pregnant girl, and and they knew that was going to be the biggest hurdle. So that's why he had to come up with it was an accident. That's how I got her.
Let me ask you this. Boogie's in the chat and says that Boogie believes it's more than one person. Chris didn't act alone. What say you?
I believe he acted alone. I kind of think he did. I mean, she obviously could be right. That's crossed my mind many times. But I think they would have some kind of some kind of evidence, or they would have talked. I think the father, if son went down for this, or somebody else, I think the father would have related that, don't you?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
let me
hey,
ask
this
you
wasn't
this.
my son; it was somebody else that did it. My son was just with them.
Let me ask you this. in most of our young people and say our mass shootings that we hear about almost on a regular now, that used to not be, but most of those young 20 somethings notify one of their friends or families about what they did or what they're about to do, or they just notify them to turn on the news or something like that. Do you think Chris, either before or after these killings, notified one of his friends or family other than his father and confessed to them?
Well, don't you think they would see that on his phone?
But no, we don't know what evidence they have. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, yeah, possibly. But I think a lot of them shooters too kind of going with the idea that they're not coming out alive, or most of them go in there and they unalive themselves afterwards too. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
I know. That's why I was asking. Do you
they
think
want
somebody else has knowledge of this?
Yeah, they want the notoriety, the fame of it too. A lot of these mass shootings, they like that. They like the fame and that comes along with it. But it possibly, but I just don't find. I don't believe there was another person.
No, I'm not asking about another person. I'm asking, do you think somebody that he told somebody other than his father, either before he carried this act out or after he carried this act out?
There's a possibility. He just seems like a very, if you look at Matthew was just so out there, you know what I mean, and just
social,
laid everything out. He seems like laid back. I mean, if you look at his expression, he's got nothing. He's just like,
He
mine's
looks like a
Lonnie,
basement.
you know what I mean? Just a cold, flat, expression on his face. The father had more of like you got a little bit of a reaction on the father's face. He was just blank. The same thing on his graduation thing. If you look at the way he acted and his expression, just so arrogant, and he just has that blank stare, like no emotion. You know what they say, the eyes say it all? It doesn't. If you look at him, there was nothing. There was no. I didn't get any bit of remorse.
Yeah, there's something about these murderers. Once they kill, their eyes are dead. They take their own soul in the act.
Yeah, he didn't show. I didn't see any remorse, any kind of expression on his face
No
whatsoever.
remorse from either father or son, which is concerning.
No, nothing that I'm caught, I'm screwed. Nothing, no reaction whatsoever. But I mean, I believe, I don't think they're gonna get away with this.
Oh, they didn't get
I
away
think
with it. They've got the rights, I think.
And I know you don't totally believe on the double digits for the father, but I believe throw the book at him. I'm sorry. I mean that was
Yeah,
something.
they're gonna throw the book. They're gonna throw the book at the father now more so than anything because I don't think the second charge is what did it in. So he must have done something that pissed law enforcement off, and I think it has to do with the fact that how dare you be a father and leave a pregnant mom just to perish for days.
And if I was the father, don't you think you'd be petrified that somebody would have come and unalived your son? I mean, the brother had already stated one way or another, if the police didn't get him, they were going to get justice their way. And I believe that would have happened. I'm still worried that someone else isn't going to get hurt in this case. Just because of the way everything's going, people talking and bad mouthing them and stuff like that. They don't deal with that kind of stuff very well. The brother's been very vocal about
Everybody
everything.
there seems to have impulse control issues.
Yeah.
They don't know how to check
he was showing all his hands and his knuckles. I guess somebody was talking about Matthew. I had 3 guys, and I guess he fought with them, and he was showing his hands the other night. So
Violence isn't
I
the
think
answer.
the father.
Violence is what got us in this position to begin with.
And you'd think the father would have been petrified, like, hey, if I don't turn my son in, someone's going to come get him. You know what I mean?
I don't know how the heck he could sleep with him in the house.
Yeah, and then still have Christmas and, post that thing from the company and the mother going on there and liking it, knowing what had happened.
Well, listen, Karen, I'm going to have to have you have your final thoughts for past 9 a.m. and I got to run.
All right, well, I'll come up with new things and we'll be chatting all the time on this case, so I'll keep looking into things and we'll talk.
All right, honey. Well, have a great day and
All
love
right.
you. God bless.
Love you too. Bye, love.
Bye-bye. All right, there we go. So that's really all we have time for today. We're looking at locations. Like I said, there's been some dispute about, whether or not Matthew and Savanah were killed at separate locations, or if this affidavit is basically saying they're killed in one location and their car was dumped at another location, which is the way I'm reading it. Either way, it appears that we're still unsure because we don't know what time Matthew and Savanah left their home. We don't know how long the drive is from. Well, we can look it up what the drive would be to Charlie Chan, but we don't know that to be the location they were. This is so vague. They don't put specificity in here. Like, this is the location we believe they lost their life at. The gun that was recovered is believed to be Matthew Guerra's, or is believed to be Christopher's. All these questions that really help us figure out the truth about what happened are all missing from this case. We are literally stuck with opinion, speculation, and conjecture. The only facts that we have for this case is the fact that these young kids were killed on the 21st, leading into the late evening and into the early morning of the 22nd. These kids were already gone. They were reported missing on the 23rd. We know that it was reported that Savanah was missing, and then it was later learned that Matthew was also missing. There was some things that were going around about Matthew's background with Savanah, which led a lot of people to kind of look down on Matthew. But Matthew was right there with her. No matter how these kids lived their life, they were executed over we don't know what, because the person that executed him is the only one that really has the information. And I have to be honest with you, I don't trust him to be truthful because he's already lied. So we will never know. We have to beg and pray that God gives these investigators and these detectives what they need to complete their job, to do their job, to find out what truly happened to Savanah and Matthew. Either way, the location of where they could have lost their life, nobody knows. It's not stated in here where they lost their life. It's only stated a location where their car was, where their car pinged at. That doesn't mean that they were alive when the car pinged. It doesn't mean that they were unalive when that car pinged. It doesn't mean that they were in control of their car at the time that ping happened. It doesn't mean that they weren't in control. See how these things go back and forth? It is a double-edged sword because we do not have the true facts to make these determinations. So what I'm trying to do with this show is show you all of the possibilities so you can find out which one fits your speculative or your theory better. But we're not going to say one way or another because we just don't have enough facts to support one way or another. For example, Karen does not believe that these kids were killed at their home. I do. Karen didn't believe that these kids were abducted from their apartment. I did. So there's a lot of things that we just don't have the facts to support, but we have a lot of speculation, a lot of conjecture, and a lot of theories here that we're just putting out. So I figured if we put out these theories, everybody can see what the possibilities are and make a decision for themselves in lack of facts. As we're getting facts, we're going to make sure that we inform everybody. I think once the grand jury is done with their job, I think this is going to open up. We're going to get a lot more clarity. I think we just need to be patient for a little bit longer. I wish we had a direction to go on because it surely would help drive so we're not misinforming people. But I think the best information we can give people in a situation like this is be cautious of everything you hear. Because there's limited facts in this case, and most of everything you're going to hear from this point forward until more facts are provided to the public and the courts is going to be conjecture. And I want you guys to take it as that. Don't think that this stuff that you're going to be hearing over the next few weeks to the next few months is factual until we get more factual information in. Okay, so don't be calling law enforcement and say, hey, I heard this on so-and-so's channel.
channel, but this is true. Okay, we don't know. We just don't know. Okay, so just be cognizant of that. Guys, I love you. It's been a great day. I hope you learned something. If you learned something, please consider thumbing this video up. We work really hard behind the scenes. The mods are always working really hard in the chat to make it a nice, pleasurable experience for each and every one of you guys over here to express your opinions and your viewpoints, and to do it in a respectful and a healthy healthy debate type manner. And I hope we're providing that to you. If you are learning something, please consider providing a thank you. A thank you is a thumbs up. You can also thank us by providing us a super chat, super sticker, or a super thanks. We appreciate everything that each and every one of you do for this channel and get us out there to cover more cases. We are going to be going to the Alec Murdaugh 3-day motion hearing, and that's going to be just a little bit of money, but we're going to physically be there. If you would like to help support that project because you like seeing stuff front row, this is the best way you can do it. You can do it by supporting us through Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. We are on a $1 will do campaign. We never want anybody to ever break their bank or take food out of their family's mouths. So we find that crowdfunding is the best way we can all participate in these events around the country by just doing your part and maybe contributing $1 or $2 to our next project. And you can do that again by Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Again, the best way you can support this channel is truly free of charge, just by coming here, watching our commercials, listening to our content, and sharing it. That's something that each and every single one of you guys can do. Oh, thank you, Nurse Sandy. God bless you for that. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And have a great day. I will keep you guys up to date. Hopefully we'll have time to do a live tonight. If not, I'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 7:30, rain or shine, with Bullhorn Betty. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe and kind to one another. There's so much ugly in this world. We don't need to be part of it. So be the beacon of hope for somebody else. Be kind, pass kindness on. We love you, and we say no to cyberbullying and cyber harassment. Take care, guys.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.